don't understand why you're 40 years old and playing the game still. So.
Well, I mean, what game do you think you're going to be playing when you're 40? What do you think you're going to stop playing games? What's the age? What's the cutoff age?
When you're out of high school and college.
You're a high school kid?
Yeah, I'm in high school. Yeah.
How old are you?
Why does it matter?
Well, I mean, you foresee yourself in the future quitting something you love, like video games? Do you not love video games? You just cruise through it.
I mean, I think it's a little bit of a waste of time when you're that old. But.
Well, how do you know? You're not old yet. I mean, I can think of probably reasons that video games would be a waste of time for a high school kid, too. Do you have a 4.0? Are you in honor classes to get more than a 4.0?
No, but...
You know what I'm saying? There's more things you could be doing to improve your life than playing video games, too, right?
Yeah, you study and not play games.
Hey, just recreation, man. Having fun. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
All right, then.
Yeah. 21st century, and she's technically a minor, so yeah. Woo! How we doing?
Sorry, guys, we're back. Oh, why do I gotta take off this hat. Hold on a second.
Last week's celebration continues. Things happen.
Well, actually, some people are doing that. Like, they're still celebrating Gamergate's birthday, but I figure we already did it, and
right.
I don't like put that on anybody else. So,
although you know, there is still stuff to celebrate today because things are good.
Yeah,
other than the stream dropping.
Sorry for the problems. I don't know what it is. I think that. So what happens is, you guys tell me what you think. Maybe you all know a lot more about computers and bandwidth and internet stuff than me. But I use a plugin with OBS. I use a plugin with OBS called Item Multistream, and it will let you multi-stream out to multiple platforms at once, including vertical ones, and it's super handy for that. But I don't know if that's the reason, but what happens is my computer loses its internet connection, but my internet is still on. So like, other devices are online, everything, but my computer thinks that it's not connecting. But we are back, so I am sorry about that. I am not streaming.
Yeah, I know. I was right in the middle of cooking too,
and I'm not streaming to Rumble. I know. So we are back, and I was looking at when I think I dropped, I was actually looking at the.
I had just mentioned the thing about RFK and Trump coming together.
Yeah.
I was getting into that.
Yes, and I think that went out. I think that, but you can, because I heard when you were saying, that it's like, just people just want sanity and normalcy and common sense. It's just that nobody wants to accept the fact that that's true, because they think that they're the ones that get to decide what common sense looks like. So, because that's what they do. That's why they're calling us weird. That's their thing. It's all like weird and women. That's basically what the Democrats have, and it's like, no, this is not. Yeah, this is insane. But what were you going to say about the Avengers?
Well, I was basically I'll do a TLDR version of what I was saying, but ultimately it kind of comes down to this idea that these people with very different perspectives and viewpoints on how to fully shape America going forward are getting beyond that for the benefit of us as a people. Like RFK saying, hey, I still believe in what I believe in, but I also know that doing that is, in this instance, going to undermine the whole purpose of what we're trying to do, which is get it to where people have more say and actual, like, we're still dealing with an oligarchy state. So like we are dealing with, just the most meager terms of actual interaction with the government itself in its current state. And so if we can actually get people in there who don't see eye to eye on every little issue, that's how we actually start getting people to be more discerning and actually having that thing called common sense and civil discourse, in the sense that you're not civility policing people on use these words and terms. Civil discourse in the sense that you actually kind of respect the person that you're dealing with, even though they don't see what you're, 100% in line with everything that you say, think, and do and believe. And that's the point, because that's how we're actually going to find our strength and independence as individuals, is by being able to actually interact with each other and process the fact that even though you and I don't even see, 100% on a lot of these things, and that's what makes this show actually work well. Like our main goal is to support independent games in a positive light, and to be open and honest in our conversations about where we, kind of see these things in the moment. And, and I think that with each passing show, we probably grow more and more in terms of respect for each other, in terms of just our ability to be open and honest and have these conversations. And it makes each show, I think, ultimately better.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm seeing from this political Avengers, as I've been hearing it called and referred to, of all these, Tulsi and Elon and Tucker and, RFK, Trump, like these are very, very different people, and any one of them, kind of has like their own perspective and ideas that if you were to just fully say, oh, we're going to do exactly what they do, wouldn't necessarily, I think, be to the benefit of any one of us. But the fact that they're actually coming together and saying, hey, as consensus of experience and viewpoints, we can actually find something that's a little bit more effective for the American people, and at least start bringing back that, actual legitimate capacity for authentic discourse and discussion, and that is far more civil than just words that don't hurt. Yeah.
No, for sure. I agree with that. I think that, like I said, I think it's great that more and more people are starting to like get activated, and that's great. And I think that part of the reason why is because people like us, small, little guy online, maybe with just a laptop, is just like, hey, trying to tell people, trying to warn people about this stuff. And I do think it takes some courage. Dr. Phil is actually another one of these people, by the way. I don't know if you, but like he's been like, having guests on that would normally have been persona non grata, like Rudy Giuliani and and Trump. He spoke to him. He spoke to RFK. So I think that like I said, I think that there's like weirdos that are actually like, a suicide cult, and then there's like normal Americans. That's what
that are getting called weirdos by a suicide cult.
That are getting called weirdos by the suicide cult. So anyway, but we only have a little bit of time left. There was some things I wanted to go over before we ended this, but I think it's important that we look at it. So first of all, I wanted to go through the Steam charts. So if you're just now rejoining us, I apologize. I had some technical issue with my internet. I think that maybe I'm like, my bandwidth is spread too thin or something. So I may have to like revisit how I do this so that it's not going out to many places. I may no longer stream to Twitch. I don't know. That at least for now, or I might go back to.
Or we might split up the stream where like I'll figure out something and put it on.
Or I might go back to doing Rumble Studio as my primary feed, because it takes. Yeah, it takes some more of the weight off of my shoulders. So maybe on Tuesday we'll try something different. Anyway, So let's look at how is Dustborn doing in sales? How is it? Who's playing? How many people are still playing this game? So right now we got 55 players. Let me do a quick refresh because 56.
Oh, they're going somebody. They're defying us.
They're blowing up. 56 people. And you can see, we talked about this, but it peaked at 83 in August of August 21st. So
the day it came out.
It's not looking good. I don't know how much they spent on it. Probably not as much as the Acolyte, but it doesn't look good either way. And then we got Suicide Squad, just as a comparison. I want to look at Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which has been out since February, and it has more players, 115 in game.
Now, to the credit of Dustbin, I will say, it is, at least ostensibly, seems to be a quote unquote, well, Quantic Dream is not a small independent company, even though they'd like to probably tell people they are. They are clearly very mainstream company. They just may not be as notable as Warner Brothers and their might behind pushing Suicide Squad. So in that regard, for them to have nearly for them to have 55 right now and Suicide Squad to have 115 concurrent players, in some ways you have to kind of say, wow, like Dustborn is actually doing better than Suicide Squad in this moment, but that's only in terms of how long this thing's been put out and how much money was behind it. But
yes,
but they both suck.
They both suck. They're both really good examples of what not to do as a game developer, and that's why I'm spotlighting this stuff. Okay, then we got Concord. So we finally got numbers. Oh, I'm getting a humming coming out of your end over there. We got numbers for Concord, the hero shooter. All right. So let's take a look. How's Concord doing? 411 people are playing this game. So this game just came out. All right. This is supposed to be massive. This is obviously the Steam charts on PlayStation. It's probably around the same number. I mean, how many people bought a PlayStation 5 anyway that actually want to play this game? So Concord, the what do you call it? A hero shooter in the vein of Overwatch is not doing good
I mean, it's
either.
just an arena shooter, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's a shooter like Overwatch. It's basically a team-based, hero shooter where all the characters have different abilities.
Is it supposed to be loosely having a story play out during the whole thing? I just thought it was just like deathmatch stuff.
No idea. Well, Overwatch didn't really have a story either. It was like they just, and I'm going to compare the sales to Overwatch, by the way, as well as the other hero shooter, at least I think it's a hero shooter, Apex Legends, which is like I don't know if there's another game that you guys want me to look up that it would be a more fair comparison, because a lot of people are comparing the success of Concord, or the failure of Concord, let's just be real, to Black Myth Wukong. I don't think it's a fair comparison because I think they're different kinds of games. So like the thing about Suicide Squad is that, and Concord, as well as Apex Legends, is that they are games that require an online community to be, to be valid, like to be viable, because if no one's playing the game and the whole game is online all the time, well, then there's no game. Like it's basically dead in the water. And that's the problem, by the way, with making these hero shooters or these online only. Yeah, live service
models don't have a long-term viability as a game.
Right, because
especially nowadays.
Yeah, unless it's like a really, really successful game. Like Fortnite is still being played. PUBG is still being played, right? Counter-Strike is still playing.
10 years in.
Yeah, GTA Online. But these games, they don't have the same staying power. So Concord is at 411, and that's now. It peaked at about 697 yesterday. So it's already falling. Like, it's Saturday. This should be like kicking butt. But nobody's interested. Nobody is interested. Concord is a fail. Nobody likes it. It's slow. The characters are woke as fuck. And also the interviews with the team behind it, again, they hate you. Don't give them your money. And I mean, some people have said that one of the problems with this is that it wasn't free to play. It's probably going to become free to play like pretty soon.
Very quickly. Yeah. But I'm still getting harassed by Sony about it. Every 2 days I get an email of some sort trying to get me to go along with this insanity. They gave me 3 offers to join the beta. It's just like you've heard me say before, it's like, dude, this is bordering on harassment at this point. And so it's gonna be free to play within 60 days from now, probably.
So Concord's live service, 411 people. Suicide Squad live service, 115 people. How's Apex Legends doing though? Apex Legends is pretty old. 196,612 players are still playing Apex Legends. And I think that's like probably the fairest thing to compare it. And
November
its sales
5th, 2020. Go up for just a second. I think that was the highest.
November 5th, 2020 is when it came out.
Yeah. That was so 4 years. 4 years nearly.
Yep. and it's still doing well. Now, it's not really like my kind of thing, but I'm just looking at, you know, what we're
objectively,
objectively
standardization.
So, it looks like peaks and valleys. Probably it's because
that's
you know, these
probably
are like
within line with like the season pass stuff that they do and things like that.
well, yes, but this is like a week's worth. So I'm looking at a week. So I think what it is like every day.
Play time of the day. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a peak time
So
of
it's
day.
like, oh, I'm home from work. I'm gonna play Apex Legends, right? So and it says here 1300 UTC. I don't know what time zone that is, but it sounds like the afternoon. So yeah, I mean that's that. Apex Legends still hanging in there. Overwatch 2. So you know, so Overwatch is dying. I was playing it a lot with my wife. We loved Overwatch. Like in 2017, we played it all the time. And yeah, like after a while, Overwatch
2 is not Overwatch, and that's one thing we've definitely learned in just the 1 year's time that it's been out on the market.
Yes,
it came out August 10th.
Well, it's not really delivering on much. I think that part of it is that they have delivered us.
They took Tracer's ass away.
Less of the gameplay stuff. And they've also injected a bunch of woke shit. I think like every character in the game is gay. I think they're all gay now. Or they're non-binary.
And Tracer
robots.
used to have a luscious booty that everybody was all like, "Ooh," you know.
Yeah.
She's like and now
it's all gone.
Pancake ass.
Yeah, they took it away. They took away Tracer's ass. So yeah, she's Overwatch, but Overwatch came out in Overwatch 2 came out in 2023, but Overwatch 1 came out like in 2016. And honestly, that's another thing too, is that Overwatch 2 is not a new game. They literally, if you own the first one, they just patched it into part 2, which isn't a terrible model.
They killed Overwatch 1 to make it Overwatch 2. And that is not a wise decision on their part, because right now, if they still had Overwatch servers running, we'd probably still have more concurrent players than Overwatch 2. But that's the reason why they did what they did.
Yeah,
top-down controlling.
So last one we're gonna look at, unless again there's like something else you guys think would be a more fair comparison, like to Dustborn or to Suicide Squad or Concord, is Black Myth Wukong. So how's Black Myth Wukong doing now? 2,084,171 and likely climbing. Yes, it's super popular right now. Now, here's the thing I want to mention.
You've got some interesting information on that nobody else is talking about, and this is definitely a good way to end the show.
Yeah, I want to end it on this thing with Black Myth Wukong, because on the last show, I basically said that I'm on the fence about this game. And right now, I'm more leaning towards maybe getting it later on, either used or on sale, if I do at all. And the reason has nothing to do with the quality of the game. It's to do with what is involved with the game.
Culture.
Yeah, what is involved with the game. So, Black Myth Wukong's doing good. Sure. Sometimes, though, there might be a cost to owning the libs by like buying the thing that they're telling you not to buy. And I think that there's like two things going on here at once. So here we have this article from Shine in Focus. It's translated from the Chinese. And it's entitled How Black Myth Wukong, China's first AAA game, came to be. And in the article, they give you the history of the developer and everything. And here's what I learned. Fortunately, I have a little bit of access to Grok, and I want to read. I also had some other links. So there was, let me see, where is it? I thought I had the link.
Conversation.
It's under,
it's in our D
I'm
online.
looking at, I see it. So, Tencent, I'm just going to drop this in here, owns the development company. They own most companies in China.
Right, in China, you really can't make a game without going through Tencent in China.
Yeah, so Tencent owns most of the corporations in China. They're sort of like the Chinese BlackRock.
The Chinese BlackRock, yes.
Yes, but they also invest in a lot of initiatives in corporations around the world. So it's not like they're only impacting China. And
they own part of Epic.
Right. And so here's the thing that's interesting about Black Myth Wukong, coming back to this, is that the developers, Game Science, they have essentially told streamers that they're signing in some kind of an agreement or some kind of terms and conditions thing that if they're going to stream the game, they can't talk about politics or feminism or whatever in the game.
Terms of service,
right?
safety and fairness, censorship policies.
Yeah. Which again, I mentioned
Standardized.
on the last show. I mentioned this on the last show that there is a little bit of Schadenfreude that I get from it because it is essentially holding these commies to their own standards that are being held to them by other commies. Okay,
Right.
So you got commies policing commies on what they should
Woke
say.
on woke violence.
Yes, and you have to ask yourself, like, why would they do that? Why are they doing that? And I think I have an idea. I have a theory, and I'm going to read you something about Tencent's involvement with DEI. Well, actually, maybe read this first, and then I'll give you my thoughts. So I talked to Grok, and I asked Grok, I was wondering, does the Chinese company Tencent donate to any ESG or DEI firms that are corrupting the West? And Grok said, based on the information available up to August 23rd, 2024, Tencent has indeed engaged in various initiatives related to environmental, social, and governance, that's ESG, and diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. But the context of these engagements needs careful consideration. This is Grok being nuanced, which is fine, whatever. So ESG, Tencent has been actively promoting ESG principles as outlined in their ESG reports. They've committed to carbon neutrality, increased use of renewable energy, and have established programs aimed at a social good, like the Tencent Foundation's public fundraising platform. These actions are part of Tencent's broader corporate strategy to align with global sustainability trends and enhance its corporate image and market position. DEI efforts. Tencent has explicitly stated commitments to DEI, emphasizing the importance of diversity in fostering innovation and maintaining a competitive edge. This includes efforts to ensure equity in employment practices and creating an inclusive workplace environment. However, these efforts are framed within the context of improving internal company culture and operational efficiency rather than explicitly supporting external DEI initiatives aimed at, quote, corrupting the West, end quote. Public perception and discussion on X. There's discussion on platforms like X about Tencent's investments and influences, often with a mix of factual reporting and speculative commentary. For instance, posts mention Tencent's investments in various sectors, including AI, which could indirectly support or align with companies or initiatives that might be labeled under ESG or DEI. However, direct evidence of Tencent donating specifically to corrupt or influence Western DEI or ESG initiatives in a negative manner isn't explicitly documented in the provided information, because of course it wouldn't be.
Shell
Why would
gaming.
that-
Yeah,
like why would
it's
you
just-
tell them what you are doing?
Yeah,
But let me
it's a shell
finish.
game.
Yeah, investment in AI and other sectors. While Tencent has invested heavily in AI and other tech sectors, these investments are generally aimed at technological advancement and market expansion rather than explicitly supporting ESG or DEI agendas in a way that could be construed as corrupting. From the information given, Tencent's involvement in ESG and DEI appears more aligned with global corporate trends towards sustainability and inclusive business practices rather than an explicit strategy to influence or corrupt Western values or institutions through direct donations to firms with such agendas. However, the broader discussion around corporate influence, especially from tech giants like Tencent, often includes concerns about indirect influence through investments, partnerships, or the promotion of certain ideologies through their platforms or investments. Therefore, while Tencent engages with ESG and DEI principles, the notion of corrupting the West through direct donations to firms with these focuses isn't supported by the provided data, but rather reflects broader, often speculative, which I'm fine with, discussions on corporate influence and global cultural dynamics. So, what
It's saying kind of the TLDR I'm taking from it is directly
Yeah.
we can't point to it, but indirectly there's probably something going on here.
And how do you know that that's the case? Well, because if Tencent owns Game Science, who is making Black Myth Wukong, and Game Science is telling the Western game journalists, etc., that they're not allowed to talk about politics when reviewing the game, giving the illusion that the game is based AF,
Not political. Right.
selling millions of copies, okay? Because they're like, oh, we're gonna buy this game explicitly to own the libs, right? Let me
They're
share this screen
lampshading
again.
the CCP connection specifically,
But
and
who
opaquing that.
benefits?
Say, hey, let's
Right.
talk about because this is like they do in everything. This is the sell job. They only want to tell you the positives, and they want to like hide all the negatives. And so like this is definitely one of those moments where I've been talking about it as something that we were going to see in the West, but it is kind of interesting that we're actually seeing it here in the East first, that this company is being marketed as this triple I independent kind of, we're doing this thing and we're like so awesome. But the money behind it indirectly, this is just, this is a sock puppet account. This is Tencent pretending that it's not Tencent.
Yeah. So, well, here's the other thing too. See, if Tencent is funding ESG and DEI initiatives, like various consultancy firms are getting their money, whatever, like, or other corporations in the West, and they're essentially giving them money to push this crap on us, while they tell them, give lip service to it, but they're likely not doing it because China, like when they talk about environmentalism, they're like the worst about it on purpose.
Right.
They don't care, right? So they're literally saying, yeah, you guys should probably do something about those carbon emissions. Meanwhile, China's got the largest carbon emissions in the world, followed by India and next in line. So they know so basically what I'm saying is they're lying to you. They know they're lying to you. They think it's funny, and you're buying their
and they
products.
know that you don't care to check to verify that they're not.
Yeah. So am I saying that you should not buy Black Myth Wukong? Well, no. You do whatever you want with your money. Make your own decisions. But I want you to know that you are essentially, I think that they have very skillfully and intelligently gotten people to buy their product to spite a group of people who they share the same ideology with. And the best part is that China doesn't have to live up to its own standards.
Marketing masters.
Yeah. So, I just want you to all be aware. I get that this game is non-woke and that has my interest. I also get, and this is also important, that we all likely already own various Tencent products anyway, because of how in bed our government is with China anyhow. So it's not like you can really easily avoid it. Like you probably own a significant number of products that Tencent has paid for. Yeah. But I want you to know
earlier,
that,
like if you buy something through the Epic Store, your money is going to Tencent.
Yeah, exactly.
Indirectly, but it's still like, it still benefits off of purchases you make, here in America.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Yeah, no, for sure. And all of the, and I already told you, Tencent has themselves, and I'm just going to share this really quick. You can read this explicitly on the website. They have a commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I promise you that they will say it, but they certainly don't practice it. I'm sure that they don't, because we saw what China did to the Star Wars posters and the Black Panther posters.
Like Disney. Like DEI will get you so far up the ladder, but then there becomes a breaking point to where you did what you did. You're just supposed to be our cover shield, and we're not going to allow you into these upper levels of choice and decision making things. Yeah, DEI will get you through, get your foot in the door, but there's going to be a ceiling. So yeah, for sure. Anyway, so we're a little over time, but I got to end it there. I think I was going to mention how there was like an IGN translator activist that was seething about the success of Black Myth Wukong. It's an illusion. Like, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, you have to be careful on... Look, buy the game if you want, but I'm saying don't call it a cultural win because you have given the communists money anyhow. And maybe the developers at Game Science, maybe they don't agree with the Chinese government, but they kind of don't have a choice because they live in China. And so they're they have to be like under the heel of Tencent, which is ultimately the Chinese Communist Party. So
I mean, it's not really communist; it's more fascist. When you have
Right. Yeah,
corporations in bed
and
with
if we are
government,
being
so-
objective about things, China hasn't been communist for 40 years, and we haven't been capitalist for 40 years. We've both been in this weird, joined at the hip in the shadow realm of fascism to create this bozo economy that, you know, like this in this weird clown-shaped COVID hell world. This is, you know, 40 years of a zombie economy playing out. And so if we want to get past fascism, we have to recognize it for what it is, not the goose stepping, not the this or that, and get pissed off that I'm even saying the word fascism. I'm just using that because it applies to this fusion of governance, you know, from being corporate in its mindset, and the initiator behind it is the thing that's trying to take over the top-down control schemes that should be, you know, more in line with humanity, rather than conceptual soulless entities that merely have the legal status as being equivalent to humanity. That's how we get dehumanized and debased, you know, and that's where we're at.
Well, anyway, that was what I wanted to cover. So again, be careful. You know, people are gonna simp for Black Myth Wukong, and maybe they're just not aware of like where the connective threads are, but you know, you should know. So, and here's the thing, this just reinforces another ultimate point that I want to make, and then we're going to wrap it up because we got another show coming up in less than an hour.
Indeed.
You can't escape the political. You have to you have to confront it on some level and then figure out where you sit. Like, what are your values? What do you hold dear, and how does that fit in? Because there's no like, oh, I just want to play my video games and not deal with shit, because they're using this stuff to get to you. So you should be aware, at least to protect yourself. So anyway, with all that said, I'm going to end the show here. I'm sorry for the technical issues. It looks like everything was fine on the second try.
While we're closing up, let me see if I can find the link to NERDWARS channel. Because they might actually already have the chat live, and then we can drop that so people can get ready to cross over and join us over there.
If you guys want to join us over on NERDWARS, I don't know if like YouTube has the equivalent of for some reason it's coming out as okay. All right, what's the NERDWARS link? I'm just gonna drop it at the top of the description.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull it up here, and I'll just drop it into our chat. But let me get to his channel really quick.
Yeah, raids. You know what raids are? Usually streamers on Twitch, when they're about to log out, they'll like say, "Oh, go to so and so's Twitch channel," and then well, not all, but like some of the people who are watching that streamer will move to the next guy's channel, and they call it a raid on Twitch.
All right, so they are live. Let me grab the link, and I will share it to you really quick. Let's copy link and dropping it in our Discord chat. Right.
All right, I'm gonna put a
there we go. Make sure I'm
link
actually talking
here.
to you. There we go. And there is the link. So
All right, got it. Let me just copy this and drop it in here.
Yep. And just so everybody knows, we'll be a little bit more low key over there. Erwin and Badger, they they'll touch on some of this political stuff, but not to the degree that we do. So we might actually be able to come back to that stuff about the developer if the conversation over there kind of lends itself to it.
Only if they want. I know that Erwin, he wants to get into like some of the more, like the stuff going on
that's
behind
where
the
that
scenes,
is where he kind of came from. But I think that he's also, like he respects his audience, and so
fair enough.
Yeah. So I think they're trying to be a little bit more positive in terms of things, and trying to.
I know. I get it. I get it. Yeah, I get it. So it's the weekend. Well, it's okay. I think I'm gonna have fun. So anyway, I'm gonna end the show there, guys. Thanks again. Let us know what you guys think about all of the stuff we talked about in both videos, because this ended up becoming 2 videos.
Indeed. We'll see y'all within the hour over at NERDWARS.
Yeah, we'll see you all then. If you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today, and please, please, please share these videos because sharing is caring. Thank you so much for coming on today's episode of This Week in Culture. Long live Vivian, and remember, they tried to kill him.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people, and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt
Yeah.
and hateful, and that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse, because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically. Bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.